Goodwill about a mile and a half from the house. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to go in there and see what I found. You know, spend some time, run some comps, and see if I could find anything to purchase to sell on eBay for a profit. Is it really impossible to source great items or even good items, average items, to sell on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, flip them for a profit? Well, when I source typically at auctions, yard sales, and estate sales. So I don't thrift because I have an abundance of inventory that is still not listed. At the very end, I have an unedited version of a video I took of a gentleman named Tone. Now, I caught Tone running comps in the store, so I knew he was a flipper, and I happened to get behind him at Goodwill. He flips part-time on eBay. He loves it. He's so excited about it. And he was great at this interview. And you can check out some of the things that he found at this Goodwill as well while I was shopping. Stick around to the end because you don't want to miss that interview. And you want to find out that one thing that I forgot to do while I was out thrifting. Okay guys, I am at a Goodwill. We're gonna jump in there and see if we can find anything. Are thrift stores really dead as all of you claim, and are they unshoppable to make money on eBay? So the first item that I came across was this Flex Brew by Hamilton Beach. Now, about 5 years ago, I tried to start a business where I was parting out small appliances in hopes that I could create a listing and then find multiples of the same appliance and sell the parts. Some of the parts can go for pretty good money, and sometimes it's just easier to part out an item for those smaller pieces. In this case, it would be like the brew basket that we would part out. The carafe is that you see there. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going through and I'm running comps on everything, right? I'm looking at the solds, I'm looking at the unsolds. I search from highest, I search from lowest, and it gives me a really good feel for this item and what I can do for it. Now this item was $8.59 less 20%, so we don't have a ton of money into this item. So I think we're going to go for it, and we're going to start maybe doing some parting out some of these appliances, as it's pretty easy ship, pretty easy list, taking photos. And so put it in my basket and we're going to get started with that. So the next item we found was this Oster food processor. It's going to basically be the same story as the Flex Brew, and that we purchased this to part it out. Anyway, one of the pieces had a crack in it, so we would be unable to sell that, as it would possibly break on the customer shortly after receiving it. But this turned out to be a good item as well. And again, I really like the idea of starting to part out some of these appliances I find if they are in, the right price range to where it makes sense to part them out. I do redonate the motors that I don't sell on eBay back to Goodwill, and hopefully they can sell them or they would recycle them. So this item was marked $9.49, and we got a $1.90 discount, and we paid $7.59 for that food processor. Now, this next item is a magical butter machine. It looked really promising to me. Now, it had a hefty price tag on it of $34.49. And with the 20% discount, it brought it down to $27.59. And I probably should have put it back, but I was thinking kind of maybe my daughter would want it. And also, when I got home and I really did a little bit more extensive research on the item, I realized there were a lot of accessories, and people were selling this item with the box and the accessories. So I knew I wasn't going to get top dollar for this item once I did all that research. So in hindsight, I probably should have just put that one back and just let that go. I do think I want to say I may listed it for 80, and I'm willing to take a best offer of 60, and I might have to sit on it a while to get those kind of prices. The next item that I saw was for a Satco Nouveau lighted panel. They actually had two of these. They were new in the box, which is always a great and easy flip to do on eBay, but as you can see, they weren't really listed and selling for very much, and the sell-through was terrible. There hadn't been any sold in the last 90 days. So of course we passed on this item, but even if the price was lower, I still would have passed on it. Now this next item was for a KitchenAid blender. Sorry about that on that footage. I had the camera go in the wrong direction. I do that a lot. I'm working on it. And actually, these were pretty cool. I did search for yellow, and they were going for pretty good money. Now, yellow is pretty rare, but it also isn't necessarily a good thing in this case because I believe they were probably looking for other colors. I did decide not to part out this item. I was thinking about it. I could have parted out the blender and the lid, but because there aren't very many people out there looking who have the yellow, I thought it would be best to sell this one whole. And so that's what we did. Now, this next item is for a Altima military boot. I actually followed a Goodwill employee. They were putting out a rack, and I saw them on there, and I grabbed them. These appear to be brand new. We ran the comps on them, and I'm going to sell them as new. And so we bought them. They were priced at $14.79 with a 20% discount. We were all in at $11.83. They're nice and clean. You can see the comps on them. They're pretty good. We're gonna list ours for $60, and we will do an auto best offer of 45 on these boots because they were in great condition and not a bad side. I think they were 9 wides. And so I put those in the cart, and we're gonna go on to the next item. Let's see what else I can find. She also had a pair of these Skechers, these men's Skechers on the cart, and you can see the price was pretty high at 9.79. And 9.79, I would have paid roughly $8 on them after the discount. However, these don't really sell very much. The sell-through rate wasn't great on them. And it looks like I was only going to be able to sell them for maybe 20, 25 bucks. So that's clearly not worth that for me to sit on that item and seeing as they're used. We're going to pass on these shoes. So this next item is a Caterpillar Pro. It actually has a light in it and then the blade that rolls over it. When I first looked these up, I was kind of concerned because there weren't any currently listed. When I put that in, they had some hand tools in there. So then I went to the sold comps, of course, and I saw that they were selling both new and used. And so I believe the used ones were selling for 80. So we listed ours for let's see, we listed ours for 90, and I'm willing to take a best offer of 75 on this Caterpillar Pro. We probably won't have it very long. I believe I listed it as used. We did test the lighting and it worked, and so that is a good old thumbs up. I found these two books, and they actually have cassettes with a matching watch. Man, those looked promising. They were still new, sealed in the package. They wanted 249. Oh, I'm sorry, 329 for them. And with the discount, it probably would have brought it down to like 250. However, when I ran the comps on them, they just really weren't selling for very much money. There didn't seem to be a lot of desire for this item. And even though this would be an easy list, easy ship, the price just doesn't work for me, especially if I'm having somebody to help take the photographs and do some of the legwork on the listing. So we passed on these. They seemed like they were going to be an amazing find. I should have known because they were misplaced in a different part of the store. So this next item is a therapy collar. It was marked 749. We paid 5.99 after the 20% off. It looks like we're going to be able to list these for 40, and we'll do an auto best offer of $30. So this next item is a Fisker's Creativity Center. I believe it's some kind of a template cutter. They did have a whole bunch of scrapbooking supplies there at the store, so somebody must have donated a bunch of this stuff. I actually ended up passing on this item. It was used, and it was heavy, and I believe they had a $20 price sticker on it. Even with the discount, it would be $16. And we didn't have any of the accessories. They did have the accessories, but those were marked pretty significantly high and unable to sell those for a profit. Now, these Canon Pixmas are actually a great pickup if you can find them. I've actually been lucky enough to find a couple of them out there in the wild, brand new in the box, and I've made quite a bit of money on them. I believe that we only have been $4.39. When I got the item home, of course, it was out of ink, and to buy the ink was $30. So, which really didn't make it worthwhile. I couldn't completely test it. And for selling it as parts, I probably would have only gotten $25 for it. So because it's a bulkier, heavier item, even though I said that I was going to list this item, once I came home and tested it, I realized I ended up taking this back to Goodwill, and I did that within 7 days. So they issue me a store credit. So this actually wasn't a good item. Max waterbed mattress is what I finally figured out. It was missing that face was because it was missing the cap that screws on that holds in all the water. But they had marked 12.49, and at 20% off, I picked it up for $9.99. Now I'm going to list this item for $125 with an auto best offer of 100. I did contact the company. I got cut off. I need to call them back, but I can purchase the cover, the cap that goes over that opening in the mattress for just $10. So I'll be all in this mattress for 20, and I think I'll be able to easily sell it for 100. So these are great pickups. Always look at those odd things. Now, it took me a while to do the research on this item, as you can see how I kept flipping back and forth because I just wasn't putting in the right keywords. Sometimes that happens. So be really careful that you don't shrug something off because you can't find it. Maybe you're not using the right keyword or you spelled it wrong. So give that research your best effort. We paid $4.39 for this item, and we're going to list it for $44.99 with the auto best offer. So this last item that I'm going to show you is an iWalk 2.0. Somebody had taken this completely out of the box. I had to search high and low for all the parts. That is a little frustrating about thrifting for sure. We ended up picking this item up. It was marked $14.49. With 20% off, we got it for $11.59, and we're going to list it for $90 and take a best offer of $74.99 is our auto best offer. So this was a good pickup.
Okay, we just got out of that Goodwill, and I am melting rather quickly. I'm just going to show you the back of the Serrano. So I kind of went crazy. I haven't been thrifting in forever, so I think I bought more than I would have if I was doing this daily or even weekly. So I ended up spending $147.86. I saved $38.71. Goodwill of Central and Northern Arizona, they have a 20% off coupon that they email you every week, and so all of us pickers take advantage of that. So, you know, all of those blue tags that you saw, I got 20% off, and any of the pink tags that you saw during the video, I got 50% off. Well, hopefully I have inspired you, at least in the greater Phoenix area, that we do have Goodwills that have still some good merchandise at a fair price. Now, don't get me wrong, they had a lot of overpriced items. I was shocked at the price on some of the items, and I showed some of those to you in the video, things that I passed on. They just weren't worth selling on eBay. So with the exception of a few items, I did check comps on everything that I purchased. I don't do that normally when I'm out garage selling. I will do it at estate sales because I think they're used to it. And when you're doing auctions, at least online auctions, you can do that from the comfort of your home and check comps. So when I'm out yard selling, I don't feel comfortable checking comps. And that is because, you know, I think it makes the seller uncomfortable. And if I need to negotiate a lower price in order to be able to purchase it to flip on eBay, if they don't know I'm a reseller, then that helps with that situation. But if they ask me, I will tell them, because once they see you buying a huge pile at a yard sale, they pretty much guess that you resell on eBay. Most of the times they don't care. Another great thing about thrifting is it's air conditioned. It's in a building. I can take my time. They usually have some pretty decent music playing, and it's fun. It's open all day. They're always bringing out new merchandise, and you just never know what you're going to find. Now I spent $147.86 that day. However, $43.12 of the purchase was for either items I was giving to my son or daughter, or they were items that I ended up returning. And I think I got about $20 in a store credit from Goodwill. If you don't know, Central Arizona, Northern Arizona, they will give you up to 7 days to return an item as long as the tag is not been removed and that you have the original receipt. So that was amazing that I was able to return some of those things that I threw in my cart that I shouldn't have thrown in my cart. So I spent a net of $104.80. Best case scenario, I think I can get $700. Worst case scenario, $600. So that's not too bad. $104 into $600. I'll take that. And I think we're going to do okay with this sourcing. So I almost forgot to tell you the one thing I forgot to do when I was thrifting. Oh my gosh, it's 60-year-old brain. Anyway, so the one thing that I forgot to do, and I was really upset with myself. So when I don't do this when I'm yard sailing because I'm not running comps, but I'm a really big proponent when I run comps. So when I bring things home, say from a yard sale or anything else, auctions, once I look it up and I realize how much it's worth, I create a draft and then I put it in a database that I've created that gives it a SKU. And I do that because what I found I did for years and years and years was I'd run comps on it. Yep, it's a good item, put it in my death pile. And I don't do that anymore. So what I should have been doing, so the one thing that I forgot to do when I was out thrifting is I was running those comps and I knew I'm going to sell it. And I didn't create a draft. And it doesn't take that long. I should have been creating drafts and putting down how much I wanted to sell the item for and just a few things, not a ton of things, just enough to create a placeholder. Do a sell similar on one of the sold comps and put that placeholder and put it in my draft. It would have saved me a ton of time because what did I have to do when I got home? I probably spent another hour rerunning the comps, recreating the drafts and getting them right. I did do a little bit more work on the drafts, but I still had to go back out there and figure out the prices. So I don't want to do that anymore. And so if I go thrifting, I find something that I want to buy, I need to create that draft, that placeholder, and put the amount of money that I want to list the item for. Then when I get home, I can put in the item specifics, I can't say that word, and juju up that description and that kind of thing. But so I did go to Goodwill yesterday so that I could return some of the items that I purchased last week that I knew that I wasn't going to flip. And I actually bought a few more things, and that'll be in a different video, but I forgot to create the drafts on that one as well. So it's really hard when you start picking up bad habits to change those bad habits. So I'm going to work on that because one of the ways to make money on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, any of the platforms is by saving time, not wasting time researching the same thing over and over and over again. So that's the one thing that I forgot to do. And for me, it's a huge mistake. Maybe you don't see it as a huge mistake, but for me, it's a huge mistake because it was a huge waste of time. I do agree with everyone. Goodwill is way overpriced on a lot of their items. And you just have to walk by and you can't let it get to you and cause that negativity, because if you keep looking under stuff, keep going to the same Goodwill so you can spot when new merchandise is out. I think you could do this just thrifting. You could thrift and make a living on eBay or just a side hustle. So I'm going to leave you with the unedited version of Tone, the California 1991. That's his eBay user ID. And you can check out the things that he found while he was outsourcing in Goodwill. So I think you'll enjoy it. And as always, stay positive, stay focused, and have a groovy day. Enjoy this video. So I'm here at Goodwill, and hopefully we won't be able to hear the music when I put this on, otherwise I'll put words up, but I met a fellow flipper.
My name's Tone, T-O-N-E.
And what's the name of your eBay store?
I don't have a store, but it's California 1991.
California,
Yep.
not without the IA,
Without
right?
the IA. It was taken.
All right, we're gonna put a plug out there for him. And he's got these shoes. He was gonna tell me about the shoes. Tell me about the shoes.
These are John
really good
Barbados.
shoes.
They're really good shoes. These are Chuck boots.
Oh my
And
God,
again,
I
they're-
did become sorry boots when I was in high school.
Oh yeah,
it's really
still.
good.
Really good brand, awesome sell-through rate, and you can see inside it
Oh yeah, they're
says
beautiful.
John Barbados.
And
And
let's look at the price tag, people, because that's important. What? Oh, $6.79, and I bet he has a 20% off discount.
we do.
Yes, I
Yeah.
bet he does in Arizona. We are lucky.
60 or 80
So
bucks.
what about those?
These are Danskos. Keep your eye out for
Ooh.
these. And these are clean. They barely look like they're used. A little bit of scuff or wear on the top, but easily get rid of these for about 50, 60 bucks.
Nice, and you have one more pair of shoes, if you don't mind. These,
If, look for the fish hook. These are Olakai's, and the fish hook looks like Maui's magical instrument. But yeah, these are great. These are size 15, hard to find. There's none listed on eBay right now. These will flip really quick.
nice, and I can see he's got a little camera over there, and he's going to flip that video for 10. No, who knows what else?
So you can
And
still talk.
thank you so much.
Oh yeah, thank you.
How fun is that? That's the best part about eBay is all the people I get to meet, and it's a really good eye. Maybe I should just follow him around, huh? His stuff is a lot smaller than mine.